The narcissist handed you a role: scapegoat, blamed, diminished, made responsible for everything they refused to face in themselves, and you looked at it and put it down. In every narcissistic system, family, relationship, workplace, friendship group, someone has to carry the shame the narcissist cannot metabolize. They selected you for that role not because you were the weakest, but because your conscience was the clearest, your light was the brightest. Your presence made their darkness impossible to hide. Psychologists who study narcissistic family systems identify the scapegoat as the truth teller, the one whose refusal to comply with the family's distorted narrative makes them the designated problem. But here's what the spiritual framework layers on top of that psychology. The scapegoat was never a victim of random selection. They were a threat. Your gifts, your discernment, your emotional intelligence, your sheer refusal to pretend that what was happening was normal, that was the original act of rejection. You rejected the lie long before you ever left the room, and they called it defiance. God called it integrity. And when you stopped accepting the assignment, when you blatantly, unapologetically, without explanation or apology, put that role down, something shifted in the entire field. The system lost its release valve. The narcissist lost their mirror of deflection. Everyone watching felt the frequency change, because a soul that knows what it carries and refuses to carry what is not theirs, that soul emits something that cannot be manufactured, cannot be faked, and cannot be stopped. It is the frequency of a person who has finally agreed with heaven about who they are. I need you to hear this today. Every time you refused to shrink into that role, every time you held your name when they tried to make it a weapon, every time you walked into a room and simply were who God made you to be in the face of a system screaming at you to disappear, that was not rebellion. That was your assignment activating. The scapegoat was the role they chose. Chosen one was the role heaven wrote, and you wore the right one all along. They made you the scapegoat because your light made their darkness impossible to sustain. Your refusal of that role wasn't rebellion. It was your assignment activating. Heaven already wrote your title.